Good evening, good evening. I have you on mute, so I won't be able to hear you just yet. Good evening, good evening. I was wondering, I said, where is Tobias? Let's go ahead and hop in and get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, to the Purpos'd Institute, July 27th. Let's double check that. Yes, July 27th, 2017. I've been so off with my days this week. Like, I woke up yesterday thinking yesterday was Thursday, and I've just been all off. But nonetheless, it's Thursday evening, July 27th, 7:30ish, what is it? Eastern Standard Time. And it's a joy and a privilege to be here. So if you are listening in to the replay or joining us for the first time, I definitely want to welcome you and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to invest in you and invest in your purpose. I am Kadesha Carroll, your facilitator, teacher, faith motivator, encourager, coach, author, and whatever else you need me to be. But I love talking all things purpose. I love working with faithpreneurs and really just pulling out what God already has in you. So I'm just a vessel, nothing special. I just said yes. So I believe he uses me whenever I say yes. But I'm hoping that you're going to enjoy this one. This is actually going to be slightly different than our previous ones because I was looking back at the schedule, and this is actually going to be like a fireside chat. So basically, I just want to review what we've already done. It's funny how you can go, and then forget where you're going. You know, just recently, I was feeling overwhelmed, a lot of things on my to-do list. And when I have a lot of things on my to-do list, which I'm sure you do as well, there's a tendency to feel overwhelmed and a tendency to want to shut down. And so I was reminded of the things that I needed to do next. And so you can't always look at the huge list, right? Because the list isn't going anywhere. But there's always something next that you need to do. I believe God gives us instructions, piece by piece, so we don't get overwhelmed, so we don't become anxious. And so I found myself crawling up that wall of anxiety. And then God had to remind me, hello, silly, this is what you're to do next. And so I share that because we've been going now since April, so I guess we're on month 4. And so I just want to bring it all in to see where you're headed with your business or ministry and see if you're certain on where you need to do next. And I just want to make sure that you're getting what you need to get out of it. So it was on our schedule to do a fireside chat. So that's what we'll do today. Just kind of very interactive Q&A, nothing too formal. I do want to bring back up the 4 Ps that we talked about. I think that was in May. But other than that, it will be a pretty much open session. And hopefully you have some preguntas, questions that we can kind of go over and maybe even work on one of your programs or projects or books, pamphlets, etc. Let's see. So just kind of recapping, like I said, this took place in May, so 2 months ago. The 4 Ps that I talked about really stemming from Marcus Lemonis, who I adore. Haven't had time to catch up on his show on demand recently, but he is a phenomenal businessman, millionaire, and he also shares a passion for entrepreneurs such as myself. He just has the money to invest in them right now, and actually I aspire to be him. I do want to definitely encourage, not just encourage, but invest, like put money into small businesses. But nonetheless, he has a show on, I think it's CNBC, and I can't think of the name right now for whatever reason, but I stemmed some of the 4 Ps from his teaching and his business philosophy. But so the purpose, obviously, everything I do is all things purpose, all things faith. And so when you have a business, making sure that you're chasing the purpose first and not necessarily the profit. The profit will absolutely come with the right structure and processes. But the purpose is what's going to keep you grounded and keep you going when you don't see the profit, and really keep God in it. So the first P is identifying your purpose and what you're to do and what you're going to do in your business. The second one we talked about was, move it over, was people. So who are you as a person? Who are you as a leader? Who are you as an owner or a pastor or ministry executive? What skills do you have? What gifts do you have? And then what areas of opportunities do you have? Understanding, being comfortable with admitting your weaknesses, or aka areas of opportunity. So you know that, okay, this is not my strength, so I need to find someone who is strong in this area. And so maybe I'm not good at sales, but maybe God can connect me with someone who is. Maybe I'm not good at editing and proofreading, but maybe God can connect me with someone who is. And so if you always think that you're good at everything, you'll never know the gaps in your business and or ministry. And so it's important to be honest and not prideful, in a sense, to think, okay, well, I can do all things. Well, yeah, we can. But there's certain extra endowments, certain strengths, certain gifts that God gives certain people. So knowing who you are, knowing what skills you have, and knowing what areas you need to grow, so that way you can start to formulate that team. The third P was the process. So understanding who's your target market, how often do you want to be in contact with these people? What systems do you need in place in order to contact these people? What programs do you need in place? What programs do they want, right? So just having those processes. I was actually just scrolling through on Facebook, and probably won't be able to find it now, but it was a post that someone put, basically the difference between a good law firm versus a struggling law firm is process. And I was stumbled upon it because my mother-in-law owns a law firm, and so it just stood out to me. And so actually it was talking about systems. And so I think I've been talking to her about systems forever. But it's important to have systems in place, and just a plan from A to B. How am I going to get this client? How am I going to push them through my sales funnel? How's my business going to work without me? Because I believe the ultimate goal of an entrepreneur is to be able to make money while your head is laying on a pillow. And so that means that eventually we need to be working less and not as hard. And so that's where processes and systems come into place. And the last P was product. What product and service do you have currently? Maybe what can you have in the near future? What makes you stand out? What makes yours different? What makes you thrive? I was on a mastermind last night with a few speakers, and actually not the mastermind. I did a mastermind and I did office hours with one of my coaches. And so one of the ladies on there was, very honest and forthcoming, saying she feels she's inadequate and she feels like she's not capable. And so the coach was like, well, let me see who else in the room feels the same way. And so everyone was like, me. And so, you may go through these things where, maybe my product or service doesn't feel like it is all that in a bag of chips, so to speak. But you have to know that God set you apart. You have to know that you are unique in some way. And so once you connect to that unique factor, your confidence will just kind of blow out the roof. And so taking some time to figure out, okay, what does make me unique? What makes my business unique? On Sunday, this past weekend, I had a wedding with my wedding and event planning business. It's in Dallas, so obviously I wasn't able to participate, but I have a coordinator who was leading it. And the Holy Spirit just kind of put on my heart to send a marriage blessing to the couple. So I emailed the bride and early that morning before the wedding, and I just kind of blessed her, just encouraged her so she could have a great day, but just bless the marriage itself. And I believe that's a part of making my wedding and event planning business different, because I believe in marriage. So it's not just about planning your perfect day and making sure everything runs smoothly, but I actually want your marriage to be blessed. I want you to be married for years upon years upon years. And so I believe my unique factor, although I'm not always able to talk about it, is my God factor. You know, that's what I'm bringing to when I'm dealing with these brides and dealing with their families. I'm adding them to my prayer list. I am covering them in prayer, so prayerfully they don't end up at a divorce court like so many others. So really getting familiar and comfortable with what makes you stand out, right? And then how can you creatively market your product? Again, that just goes to the unique factor. I saw someone else post on social media, and she was saying how you can't just market your business on social media. And it resonated with me because we do get very comfortable with social media. But every now and again, like, we have these wonderful phones here that can dial out, that can text, that can email, that can do things that some people won't do. And so there's nothing wrong with selling your product by calling someone. And so although we're very technically driven in terms of our society and all the social media and all these gadgets that we have, there's nothing like just sending a letter in the mail. There's nothing like sending a greeting card. There's nothing like just doing something outside of the box. And so, again, knowing or identifying the ways that you can creatively market your product. So I wanted to review the 4P workbook, the 4P sheets that I sent out back in May. I guess this was May 18th. And so I have the privilege of having yours printed, Tobias. And I was praying that I would be able to read it. But I was able to read it, probably because my handwriting is the same. So I guess we talk the same handwritten language. But I thought we can spend some time kind of going over. I was highlighting some areas and had some questions, but I really wanted to, especially considering the email that we were going back and forth on this week. And although it was a scare, I do believe sometimes, those scares can be things that can help us to really look at our lives. So I wanted to go over yours.
Okay, sure.
Really start to help you work on a solid plan just in case something happens. And I hate using that word just in case, because it's never that just in case. It feels like to me that it's like on accident. If something like that happens, then it was intentional. And it may not be your intention, but that will be God's intention for your life. And so, I wouldn't take that false scare lightly.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I would take it as, you know what? I want to put a plan in place for my life. And even if you want to walk away, you can walk away gracefully. Or even if something were to happen, you can just bow out gracefully, knowing that, okay, I've already put something in place. So now I just have to pick it up and execute it. So do you have your 4Ps with you?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
So I did notice a few things, and great things actually, but you had used the word rebuild.
Yeah.
And so I wanted you to clarify that for me so I can be on the same page with you in terms of what rebuilding really is. And so the first one that you used, it was in the first box, page 1, first box. I want to see people rebuild themselves and their communities. So what exactly do you mean by that word rebuild? Because depending on who's talking, it can mean several things. So if it's like a financial advisor, it could be rebuild credit, which I assume that's what you weren't talking about. But, depending on who's talking, that word rebuild can mean various things. So what do you mean? Because that's obviously a word that resonates very strongly with you.
Yeah, so no, I think, I think rebuild means for me, I know what it literally means for me. For me, it literally means construction. So it means literally kind of like, from architecture to actually building, building what you're called to build. And for me, it's more prospective in the sense of, it's more prospective in the sense of this is what we want to build. But then I use the word rebuild because it is an acknowledgement that, most of the people or many of the people I'm hoping to attract have suffered something. So.
Now, is it any one particular thing that they would have suffered from? And just trying to help narrow in when we think about who it is we're going to go after. So in my case, I remember being very irritable because I was unfulfilled because I'm going to a job that I did not really enjoy, and ultimately it tied back to purpose. So those are the individuals that I'm going after. So I can relate to those who are at a 9 to 5, knowing that they hate it, and so that will be an easy market for me to go after because I can relate and I remember me being in those shoes. So is there a particular vulnerable area that these people may have endured in terms of trauma or anything like that?
Yeah, so for me, I think the trauma is more so much giving up, not so much lack of fulfillment. Just because, so I think it's, for me, it's more from the angle of giving up. Yeah.
On dreams, on love, on life?
It's more dreams. Yeah, I'm not the love doctor as you.
Oh my goodness. You say the love doctor. I guess I feel like I did a really good job today. Like I feel like I disconnected from my phone on purpose because I just had too much to do. But I keep referencing all these posts that I've seen on social media. So I feel like I was on there more than I thought I was. But anyway, I feel like I was on there less than what I normally am. But there was another post and it was actually quite entertaining. You said the love doctor. So anyway, he was giving a suggestion on what men should do for women. Mind you, he's not married. And the suggestion that he gave was for married folks. Otherwise, you're promoting, like, it wasn't premarital sex, but it's like it could lead to that.
Yeah.
And I know him to be a Christian, so I was a little disappointed because, like, it would be something great. Like, I think it was like basically warm up her towel like in a dryer, while she's in the shower. I'm like, that is awesome for married couples. Like, but now you're like saying that it can be for anybody, and we're all grown, and I'm like, oh god. So anyway, somebody had commented and was like, okay, love doctor, when are you going to start doing your sessions? But
yeah.
You're funny. You could be the love doctor if you wanted to. You actually remind me of, have you seen Hitch, the movie?
Yeah, I did like that movie, yeah.
I really loved it too, and just saw it probably again maybe a few weeks ago on whatever, TNT or something. But you remind me of that guy. Like you're going to be that guy that gets like the hot model.
Hey, I'll take it.
But anyway, okay. So rebuilding in terms of individuals giving up on dreams.
Oh, but no. I think there's a parallel though between what I'm about and what love doctors are about. No, seriously, I'm part of a I live in a predominantly African American town.
Right, I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So I border a predominantly white town, and I'm part of a book club in the library, a public library that's predominantly white.
Right.
And the book that we talked about today is a book called Loving Frank, which is about the architect Frank Lloyd Wright in Chicago. And he basically had um, uh, I guess I want to say illicit, but he had an out of marriage relationship with a woman by the name of Mima, and the whole book is about her. But what you can learn from the book is that, um, you know, she had this calling on her life to be a suffragette, which was a woman who was fighting for women's equality in the 1900s. And like, it's clear that that was God's calling on her life.
Right.
But the problem of the book is that once she starts, well, she gets married, she has a husband, and then she has this relationship with Frank Lloyd Wright. But the point is that she realizes her calling throughout the book. But the problem is that she can't make the right steps to get back on track to pursue her calling.
Mm-hmm.
And so she makes a series of bad decisions after another, after another, after another, after another. And the book ends horribly. But I mean, you know, that's the story. That's a love story. But you know, when I'm talking about rebuilding, I'm talking about people have an inkling of their calling.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard for them to see how to get there from where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's what I mean by rebuilding, meaning I'm in this place where I've made mistakes. I'm in this place where mistakes were made around me. I'm in this place where I'm in various environments, but I see where I want to be. I know what God's calling me to, and I really need to know how to rebuild my life. I think that's what I'm speaking to.
So I want you to erase the think in that.
Okay.
That is who you're speaking to, and that right there would sell because people can relate. Like, that was vulnerability. And so I think we go around, and I catch myself, I do this a lot because we are it's almost like we're trained to talk a certain like language and like particularly like churchese. And so we feel like we always have to include Jesus, God, faith, something in our talk. But what you said, well, you did say God, but but what you said just sounded so real and not like anything out of like a storybook or that someone was like telling you to say. And so that's the connection that you need, is that realness of just you being vulnerable. Like you just talking like, yeah, I had some dreams. And even if it's not just you, like having multiple stories of that. So multiple people, whether it's on a panel or doing like webinars, webisodes. I think I was sharing the last time. I'm not sure if I shared or not, but yeah, I think I did. Where there was a young gentleman on a panel, and he was so honest about him abstaining from sex because he's not married and he's waiting on his wife. And so we were all like intrigued because one, you hear women talk about it all the time. I mean, women are everywhere and we're chatty catties. That's who we are. You don't hear men vulnerable a lot and being honest with like, okay, I made some mistakes. First of all, to hear a man say that, like you can pass out just from hearing someone say that. But I made some mistakes. I've been in some, horrific situations. I've been hurt. Such and such age. And I'm like, how do I get back to where I need to be? How do I know I have an inkling of what God's calling me to do, but how do I even get on path? Like, that vulnerability and that realness, I think, is really going to connect you to other people. And then finding men and women, not just men, but men and women who can have that same vulnerability, and you start some webisodes. And I'm not trying to add to this to your plan, because once we get there, I'm going to tell you that you have to cut down because that 30-day plan is like intense. So I'm not trying to add to something that you need to do immediately, but I do believe that you could have some pretty dope webisodes with that type of vulnerability.
Hmm.
So, okay. So that was definitely my question for that one, which now that you dug a little deeper, I get it. I'm like, rebuild. Let me know things. Okay, so the next block you talked about healing and health a few times, and then extraordinary things. So I kind of want to dig a little deeper on those things. What do you, and it could, the extraordinary things may be just going after the dreams. Now that you've broken that piece down to me, is that what you mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's right on the money.
Now the health part of it, is there a special, um, a special place in your heart for certain types of health challenges, or?
Oh yeah, so exactly. So today's paper, the New York Times. This is an extreme example, but I guess if you think about ISIS and Iraq and everything,
Mhm.
they've captured various people from whoever they can capture basically, but they've captured a group of people called Yazidis who are mostly Christian,
Mhm.
which means that they're worthless to the Muslim war, so to speak. Um, but several of the women who've been captured have been through extreme sexual assaults,
Mhm.
as in like daily,
Right.
until they escape. And so the article's focus is that these women who return home, they have certain health challenges to deal with directly, but beyond some of the physical health challenges that medicine can address, um, they're just so mentally and emotionally damaged that if they heal, it takes time to heal.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's what I'm really talking about. I'm talking about, yes, I want to pursue my dreams, but how do I address the hurt that I've been through and being ready to pursue my dream?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, and so that's what I'm talking about. How do you create a space for that?
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
and that's key because the statement hurt people is so true. And so if a hurt person is in a position where they have contact with other people, there may be some hurt that comes out of it. And so everyone's dreams may be different, right? Someone's dream actually may put them in a room by themselves and they may be making music, or they may be putting together, reconfiguring or engineering a computer. So they may not be in contact with people. But if for someone who is going to be a leader or a manager or a steward over some type of individuals, healing does need to take place. Um, in my last position, me and my boss, we could be very honest and open with each other. I called her my work mom. So, we had that type of relationship, and we had it pretty much from early on, from the beginning. And so I was able to share with her some of the things that I feel like she could improve on. So we were able to have that kind of like that 180, I guess, if you will, that her telling me what I need to do better, of course, but me being able to say it back to her. And I could tell that it was some things that she just needed to deal with. Otherwise, why would that be coming into the workplace? And so that is key, that hurt people be healed, because that's the only way. One, God wants you whole. I mean, how can you help other people be whole if you're not whole? Um, so yeah, I think that's phenomenal. So now I'm starting to get the connection.
Yeah. No. Um, and then the third space, it does sound like churchy, but it's actually more the sense of, dreams, healing. And then the third thing is really just showing up for God,
Hmm.
um, meaning that, people want to show up just to see what God is doing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, this is my purpose. It doesn't have to be, this is why I'm showing up to be healed. It's just simply saying, I'm here to show up what God wants to show out tonight. It's like looking at the stars at night. Um,
Yeah.
In fact, I used to call it God gazing. It's kind of like just going out, seeing what God is doing. You know, he might have a meteor shower going, and and then that just translates into what God is doing in other people. Meaning, I just want to show up to see what's going on with you or April or anybody else. Just just showing up.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, the God gazing, that's a good one. I feel like I do that way too often.
No, but I think that's just part of being in love with God, right?
Right. Okay. So I like that. I like that. I'm glad I was able to ask you these questions because I think just questions help you go a little bit deeper and be clear on who it is that you're going after. So if you know that you're going after those who have this type of trauma, but yet they still want to go after dreams, then that will help you to stay out of areas that have nothing to do with that. It just ultimately help us to stay more focused once we're very clear on who it is we need to go after. But I believe showing up for God is, showing up with a desire to be whole and then ultimately going through that process to being whole. Like that's showing up so you can show God that, you know what, I'm my best self. Like that's who he wants to see when he looks at us. I mean, he looks at us and looks at us perfect, but it's nothing like looking down from heaven and like, man, look at Tobias go. Like he's doing everything that I mapped out for him in the plan. Like when I wrote it down, like look at him. And I just feel like he's such a good cheerleader. I mean, he's always cheering us on, but it's like he's just like rooting for us even the more when we are actually looking like what he intended for us to look like and not broken and destroyed and downtrodden and all these other things that come from life, and he allowed these things to happen. But as I was working on finishing up my book, and I think I was writing kind of to that same point that, hurt women, but we can help heal. But the healing comes from us being honest of what we experience and like our trauma. Like, okay, I endured this. I was molested or kidnapped, or like there's just so many things that we get stuck. But it's like God was using that to be like tapping on you. Like that's going to be a part of your ministry. That's a part of your blessing to other people. And he had it occur to and happen to us because we're strong. Like going through, I can't remember, was it the surgery? It must have been the surgery or something. I just felt like going through this, I'm like, God, you must really think I'm strong. But there's just certain things that it actually wasn't me. It was someone else, some other woman. She was just telling me all the surgeries that she's been through. And I'm just looking at this little bitty. I mean, she's like really a little bitty. And I'm like, man, like everything that she's been through, like accident after accident, and like now some of her memories kind of gone. But I'm like, God allowed these things to occur because he knew you were strong enough to handle it. Like, because someone else would have chose a different path, but she chose not to. So anyway, the things that we endure, the things that we go through, God had them take place in our lives so it can be a part of the blessing for other people and not just to like keep us broken,
Yeah.
It's about going through the process. So I love it. One thing I did have a question mark on when it says a legacy, and I know there's multiple ways to leave legacies. There's multiple ways to leave legacy. So I had a question mark by family. Do you desire a family?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. I remember the days when I suggested 5 children and was willing to compromise for 3. So
so anywhere between 3 and 5.
But no, I mean, at this stage of, because I am 42. Um, I mean, I'm really probably looking at two naturally born, and then maybe one or two adopted. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it's funny because we never know how it's going to play out. I mean, I know we crack God up. I know I crack them up. But, we try to pencil this thing out. And, again, if you get that young model, in her 20s, there go your 5. So.
No, I must say I've been inquiring how low I can go in terms of age stuff.
But seriously, we don't know how it's going to work out. I mean, we see now that people are having children older all the time, and then with all the stuff that they have, the in vitro and all that, now you can select how many kids you want. I mean, there's just so much. But if we just go back to the Bible, we see how old Abraham and Sarah was. And I so believe that God gave us that example for a reason. I mean, he did not, I don't believe it was his plan that all these young teenage moms will be out here. There is something about being mature and wise and set in your purpose before having a family. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm going to be praying. I will pray for the young model, but I'll pray the Lord's will. But more importantly, that he gives you the desires of, your heart. So cool. Awesome. We got the legacy. Let's see what I had on this one.
I think in terms of legacy, and I think I was afraid when I did this to really name it, but I think I do want to leave a university behind.
That is powerful. And as I was going through this, I'm like, Lord, is this real? Like, it amazes me the fact that there could actually be like a purpose-driven degree like that. I mean, I think I would jump off of, like, I think I actually may do like some bungee jumping or something, like if that was established, because how awesome is that? Like, I talk about it all the time, how I feel like, school is excellent, phenomenal. I'm an advocate of education and all that good stuff. But it's like, if somebody can teach me how to find my gifts and I can actually get a degree, like, that is phenomenal. I feel like God will be saying, well, please. So yes, I'm glad that you mentioned it. And so, we can definitely go back and write it in, because the power of writing is phenomenal. Actually, just this morning, I, not too early, but early morning or this morning, I was, having my moments with God, but as I'm having my moments with him, I'm letting him download what I'm going to speak about on Saturday at a marriage retreat. And then I come to my little woman cave, and I look at 2016 when I was writing out my topics for my conference back then. And the topic that I'm speaking on Saturday is actually one of the topics that I wrote on the wall. Mm-hmm. And so writing is key. Like, write it down, and then you'll find, like, years later, when you look back at your journals and all these sheets, like, man, I already wrote it down. So you writing is just you agreeing with God. That's it. So I'm going to go back and write it in on my copy. University. And maybe I can have a building. Maybe I can have a building named after at your university.
I think that'll happen.
All right. So what do you sell?
So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
What kind of building do you see named after you?
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking about the buildings at Spelman. I remember there was one with Camille and Bill Cosby, but what building was that? I think that was our building that we, like, our social arts or something. I don't want to say the chapel.
Hey, hey.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good one. Maybe if there was, like, I mean, of course, if there's a building where the degree of purpose is in it, I mean, I would definitely want that building named after me. Or maybe financial aid, since I struggled so much with financial aid in college. But no, that's a good question. I want to think about that.
No, cool. So yeah, I'm writing that down.
That's hilarious. Okay, so I'm at the top, page 2, first box, and I highlighted. Oh well, we talked about that, but I was definitely excited to see conferences.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so the two between like personal rebuilding conferences versus the rebuilding communities conferences. Like, what do you see as the major difference between those two?
Oh, okay. So yeah, I kind of saw the rebuilding conference as in how to rebuild from like past hurts, for example. But then, so this is what I envision, for example, for actual rebuilding communities conference. Uh, I don't know if I've talked about him, but you know Clemente Pinckney, right?
Clemente.
Pinckney.
Yes, I think you told me. I think, did you tell me connect?
Yeah. So we knew each other one summer back in 1994, and at the time we were working on issues like then we were working on issues. We were working on two issues. The first was HIV, and then the other was the war, and then Bosnia. And since that, since 1994, Clemente Pinckney went on to be a South Carolina state senator. Well, he was a South Carolina state senator then, and he kept working for the community. And so, what I mean, a rebuilding communities conference. I mean, here are all these people with dreams, and then how do they connect with each other to rebuild the communities around them? So I always thought, for example, that there would be a conference, for example, in Columbia or Charleston, where people in South Carolina talked about rebuilding their communities. Yeah. So and the reason why Clemente comes to mind in particular is because we were actually in 1994 together, and we were talking about HIV, but we were talking about it more as like a national trend, and then as an African American problem in particular, disproportionate effect on African Americans. And so one time Clemente was just kind of talking about like a really specific data set, and he asked the professor who could that possibly be? And so the professor was like, that's South Carolina. And it was funny because that's where he was from. And he was just like kind of flabbergasted because it was like, this is about me and my community. So, yeah, so I saw conferences where people who had dreams and, they had dreams, they're recovering personally, but how do we bring these dreams together? How do we turn that into, collective action, I guess?
Yeah, because I did see your, I don't know if it's on this page or on the next one, where you had talked about, I think it's on the one with the team or the people, on the type of people that you wanted to kind of engage. Oh yeah, develop a civil rights collaboration. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah. So I'm thinking about where am I at? Let's see. Which page?
On page 4, the second box in your 30-day plan.
Okay, yeah. So
that's when you said community, that made me think of that, because going outside of just the faith base, but looking for people who are in the civil rights, looking for people who are politicians, looking for people who, the bankers and all those people who have a stake in our community, bringing them together and having a dialogue. I don't know, for a community, I don't know if conference would be the right word. I'm trying to think what they call these things now, but I get what you're saying. Bringing everybody to the table and figuring out how we can rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I mean that develop a civil rights collaboration is actually very specific.
Mm-hmm.
In April, I was at a conference with about actually the Reformation. Because 500 years ago was Martin Luther's Reformation, and
Uh-huh.
this is 500 years later. So I was at a conference about that, and a professor by the name of Josiah Young, he's at Westminster Seminary in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
He lectured on civil rights. Three people in the civil rights movement. I'm trying to remember Fannie Lou Hamer, Dr. King, and Fred Shuttlesworth. And so, his presentation was just really touching. He just, he really went into all three people and felt who they were and, conveyed that to the audience. And so, he probably got the most resounding, he got like the most resounding kind of, most resounding kind of applause, like, of the whole conference. But afterwards, I got to talk to him, and, I'm like a civil rights, really, civil rights. I'm trying to use a healthy word. I'm a civil rights, fan. And so, I just went up and started talking to him, and I was really just trying to hide how much of a fan I was. But, I was just trying to, ask my honest questions, but also just kind of keep it kind of straight or whatever. And, he answered my questions or what have you, but then, immediately he just like looked me in the face, and he was just like, more. He's like, you seem to like this stuff. So he was just like, we need to work together. And, he was just like, reach out to me and we can work together. And so, I haven't reached out to him. So so that was very specific. That was just simply reaching out to him. And then there's other people whom I have, contacted to, who worked in the civil rights movement. He's a scholar of the civil rights movement, but there are people in the civil rights movement who I've contacted and want to contact. And just, just connect with, because for me, that movement in particular,
Right.
The civil rights movement in particular, has a religious and spiritual dimension that, one, is worthy of, one, emulation, but number two, it's not even finished. So,
right.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're hopping around, but I think one of the areas that you had mentioned was overcoming shyness. And I think I subtract think. When you are in a lane that you are passionate about, that trumps your shyness.
It does, totally. Yeah, totally.
So, and it's probably hard to always stay in that lane, right? Because everybody doesn't always want to be in that lane with you. So say your young model doesn't want to talk civil rights, your shyness may come up. But I think if you can somehow leverage that same passion in other areas, that will trump your shyness.
Yeah, no, I actually reflected on that because, when I talked to you the other day, one of the things that you talked about was potentially talking and speaking about the legal/social issues that I'm interested in. And, my first reaction was that, like, wow, I might be interested in it, but I don't feel like I've locked, in my mind, because I was like, I don't feel like I've locked those issues up, you throw an issue out to me in public policy or law, I might comprehend it. I might be conversant in it, but I don't feel like it's my lane. And so I was just like, yeah, I'm too shy to do that. That was my immediate reaction. I was thinking about that too. In fact, last spring I came to a professor who had who's like a colleague from previous years. And I was talking about a criminal law issue that I was interested in. And it's very specific. I have a really specific idea about it. And her immediate reaction was like, you got to get out and talk about this. And she had somebody to set up to give me a speaking arrangement right then, like, you know, but like, I was just like, that's crazy. Like, I haven't locked any of this up. This is just, you know, I mean, this is just an idea off the top of my head, you know, and it just takes this much work and this much work and so forth and so on. And, you know, I essentially just kind of, you know, sidelined it, put it on the table.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is my shyness. Like yeah, if you know, if I haven't locked this up, I'm listening, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, I think as we're all human, so we're all going to feel that level of inadequacy, unsureness, time and time again. I mean, even probably up until Sunday or Monday, I'm like, I have no business talking on Saturday about my topic. You know, it's just not a topic that I typically talk on. And I'm one of those where, you know, Lord, if I don't need to talk about it, I won't go. But this is a paid speaking engagement, so it's like, how do I get out of it? And so he got me back to my lane. Yes, this is a topic that, because it's a topic, it's marriage on a mission. I don't typically talk to married couples. But in order to be married on a mission, you have to be an individual on a mission first. And so that's the angle that I'm coming from. And I mean, I am married, so it does help. I can give some tidbits, but some of the people in the audience have been married for 40 years, so I'm sure they could give tidbits too. So the bottom line is, you gotta go scared. Knees knocking, shaking, and all of that. But there's like, if it's an opportunity that God really is giving you, he'll give you a flow that is just like, oh wow, that's a different angle, different perspective. I mean, even when I spoke at this conference, Beyond School Hours conference, again, all I talked about was serve from a place of passion. I have to stay in my lane. I'm not going to sit here and talk about, like, because research and statistics, that's not really my strong point. And so that's what I thought I needed to bring in the academic arena. But all I did was, you know, serve from a place of passion. And I included some statistics because I felt like it was, you know, some research, it was necessary, but not a lot. And so, again, it was like one of those God winks. Okay, all you have to do is just be you. So you don't have to be like the smartest person in the room, but because you are the one in front of the room, people will listen. You know, I mean, every now and again, you'll probably get a jerk, but most jerks don't even speak up, at least not to you. They'll maybe speak up to their friends. But yeah, go after these opportunities. I mean, go after the things that you definitely feel comfortable in, but definitely even the things that you don't feel comfortable in, because, you know, God will he'll download something to you, especially if you're talking about this God-gazing moments. If you're having a God-gazing moments, he'll tell you what to say because he knows who's going to be in the audience. But I would definitely say, from a speaking standpoint, go in the arena that you're used to. That's the arena that you have connection with right now. So it's an easy transition for you to get a speaking engagement in this type of arena. And then no one says that you got to stay there. Eventually it may evolve and you go and speak in other areas on different topics. But this is where all your connections are. So that could be an extra source of income for you while you make your transition to your university. So going back to page 2, first box, online phone courses, conferences, magazine. Let me see my notes on the side. So I am definitely, I love concrete and wanted to see some dates for when you envision these first conference. I did see that you want to do your first course 2018. So if we could, you said fall. Oh, darn. You said fall 2018. That's like the end. But okay, so I missed that. I saw 2018 and I didn't highlight the fall part. Okay. But yeah, dates are good. And even if it's the date can change, right? I mean, you know that the date can absolutely change, but it helps you. It becomes more real in your head when you have a concrete date. So I would definitely work on locking in some dates for your online courses, any additional books, and the conference.
Yeah. So no, I mean, to kind of, the dates and stuff actually here are kind of just spread out all over the place. But yeah, the way I think about it is this. I'm thinking about the person who wants all these things, the person who's willing to go after this purpose degree. Um, I see them seriously starting this purpose degree, this purpose, this empowerment degree, in the fall of 2018. So, I mean, you know, to be honest, by the late fall, I mean, I kind of see a process already set up for those kind of people. So by the late fall of this year, meaning by Thanksgiving, perhaps, and I should probably write that down. By Thanksgiving, perhaps, I mean, I should be sitting down with somebody and saying, I see you getting a purpose degree, and I see you starting next fall.
Right.
And so what I really see myself is just developing, 1, 2, or 3 courses over this next year that kind of lay the groundwork for all that to begin.
Right.
For people to buy in to just get used to the course process, perfect it, and then by the fall of 18, there's a real, somebody starting a purpose degree.
Yeah.
That's the real plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Let's see. I think I wrote the same thing down here. I put a heart. Love this. Down there at the degree part. Okay, so you talked about that. So page 3, first box.
Okay.
And you will question mark by the you put a question mark by the spiritual gifts, and then I question back, do you know your gifts? So were you asking were the spiritual gifts is what I was referring to? Or were you kind of questioning mark to yourself, like, what are my spiritual gifts?
I think, this was probably, when I filled in that whole box, I was thinking to myself, what kinds of skills do I have to do what I'm doing? And so, the biblical studies MA is a credential right now. The law degree is a credential, not so much in the sense that, not so much in the sense of using it to, practice law, but in the sense of being able to think about life and the Bible and issues and people and everything else like that.
Right.
Writing skills, however weak or strong they are. And then so spiritual gifts, that was a question, and I guess I should be I should be asking you for help with that, with spiritual gifts ideas. But no, when I first came home, there was a guy who was he was actually nicknamed like the Black Mayor of our town. But not to say what he really, he was an insurance salesman, and he went to our church, but he encouraged everybody in so many different ways. So, encouragement was probably his job. He was probably passing on a mantle when he said that to me. But, I saw him after completing seminary back in 2005. And this is my first time seeing him in maybe 20 years. He actually gave me a scholarship at my high school graduation and stuff like that. And so like this is my first time seeing him in 20 years, and he just says, your job is to encourage other people. And so you know, that really is what I see as my spiritual gift. Yeah, so I see a gift of encouragement. I think I also have a gift of probably discerning and being sensitive to what's going on in other people.
Right.
But I don't kind of see myself as necessarily that strong in that gift, just because all the things that I've had to do to overcome my own stuff, you know, I'm not even sure that there's clear reception all the time. So
not always on the right channel.
I'm not always on the right channel. So I just kind of scratched that off, but if it's there, it's there. If it's not.
Now, the cool thing about gifts though, is that they have to be, because the gifts come without repentance. So, even if we don't know God or desire to know God, we still have gifts, which is why we can see rappers and they're successful. I believe a lot of rappers are very prophetic. And I mean, Tupac was, I believe, one of the most prophetic people I know. So the gifts come without, repentance. But at the same time, they have to be developed and, and mature over time. And it's just like anything else, when we learned, what was we learning in whatever math we were learning in second grade, we had to continue to do it over time. And then we were able to move on to calculus and all this other stuff by the time we got to high school. So that's the same thing with our spiritual gifts. And I think that's definitely going to be something that can be utilized in your university, is helping people develop those gifts along the way and showing them, okay, well, how can you use them? Of course, in the church, I mean, the spiritual gifts are to edify the body of Christ. But then what does that look like if I'm going to take on a non-church career, etc.? And we're actually going to go over spiritual gifts. I think I have it in September where we'll do a spiritual gift assessment. But definitely no brainer. One of your gifts is teaching. I mean, that's just what you do. So that's definitely one. But yeah, going back to the discernment piece, it just needs to be developed. That's all. That's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it is funny. But no, I was talking to someone earlier, actually. We had a little consultation, and she was running me down her gifts, and I'm like, oh, cool. So, telling me some of her gifts, and it's definitely, definitely operating a bit in the prophetic. And one of the things a lot of prophetic gifts, people who have that gift struggle with, is just mouth. We all, just always talking. I don't never know when to shut up. Sometimes we talk too much. And so that was one of the things that, she was struggling with. She's not sure when to speak, because sometimes God will tell you things, but that don't mean you have to tell the person. You can pray and do other things. And so it was funny to hear, because we all struggle with the same thing on whether or not we should speak, should we not, etc. But what I did share with her, and she agreed, is that when it is time to speak, like there's a certain feeling you get, like you can't hold it, like what Jeremiah talked about, like it shot up in his bones like fire. Mm-hmm. And so you can't, like, that is God telling you to speak. So over time, but how would you know that if it's never happened to you, or if no one ever shared that with you? So those are the things, like once you get with people who have a strong discerning gift. I think I have a pretty discerning gift. Pretty high on the discernment area. Not I think I am. But more people, more males, because I think it will probably look different on males, because again, males tend to be not as chatty. So for me, if I'm discerning something in someone, like, I'm ready to tell my husband right away. If I see that he has a bad friend, I'm like, but that may not be the best approach. So I think it's important for you to definitely get some good male leadership mentorship that have some of these gifts, because then you can see how they operate in them versus crazy old me. But no, this is good. So yeah, definitely encouragement. I definitely see, of course, I always called you an encourager. The teaching, discernment, and let me see, because I believe there are.
So no, can I ask you this question?
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna
I
look
mean,
up. I think there's 9, but I'm gonna look it up while you're talking.
I had excellent role models that got me to the point of receiving the Holy Spirit. I mean, to go from one to being saved, then to receiving the Holy Spirit. I mean, I had some great role models that got me there. And without those role models, I mean, you just don't know how that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Um,
I would get that.
and so but after that point in time, I literally geographically moved away from those role models. And so, since then, I really haven't had any per se.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of been like yeah. So, I mean, I guess I do have a question in the sense of like, how do you cultivate those gifts? How do you think about them in ways that we're meant to? So, I mean, for me personally, I've just really just been in this phase the last 6 months or so of just really taking the Holy Spirit seriously again. I mean, like really, really.
That I like. I mean, I like how you say it again, but that's one of those real phrases. Like, all right, I know you. I mean, because he exists, whether you take him serious or not. But it's like, all right, I'm getting real about it again. That's funny. That's cute.
Yeah, no. I mean, seriously. So, I mean, about the incident from the other day, but there's like a whole nother spiritual dimension to it. So, that morning, I got up and I was like, should I do my Bible study first? And I was like, well, yes, no, maybe so, because there's a million things to do, and the
Right.
day speeds up, and I'm working right now, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so I'm working doing all these other things, and then I said to myself, I'm going to come back to it, and I'm going to come back to it, in the afternoon, and I did, and I didn't make the connection, but I did the regular Bible study, but Psalm 37 has this verse that says, "Do not fret, for it will lead to when you do it will lead to wickedness."
Wait,
And
say the beginning.
so Psalm 37.
Uh huh.
In fact, let me just look it up real quickly.
And
Um,
I don't think I have my Bible in here, so I'm all technology tonight.
so yeah, Psalm 37. Where is it? Um, hmm, let me see, where am I? Okay, here we go.
Mm.
Um, Actually, let me look it up another way. Do you have 30 seconds?
Oh yeah, I'm still looking up these spiritual gifts, trying to count on my hands, but I'm running out of fingers.
Okay, cool.
Um, let's see. Oh wait. Gospel, prophets, helps. Huh. It's a lot. I'm gonna have to.
Okay, so no, I was reading. I was actually reading from the NRSV. It sounds a little bit different from the King James.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like Psalm 37 verse 8 says, "Refrain from anger and turn from wrath." It says, "Do not fret, colon colon. It only leads to evil." Um, and I read it then, and when I did, like that just stopped me right there, like spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like spiritually, I was stopped, and like I saw it that way. But then, when the events that happened later that day happened, I mean, I reacted to them naturally or spiritually as I knew how. But when the crisis was over, I was reminded of that verse. So it was like, oh, like I had the whole answer spiritually before this already started.
Right.
But in the moment, I wasn't functioning in that. You know what I mean? I wasn't functioning in that anointing, so to speak. But afterwards, I was shown like it was all there for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meaning, I had all the equipment, I had all the answers
Right.
directly. I mean, like word for word. But I was just totally just you know, caught up in the exercise, so to speak. Uh, but I mean, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So for me, my concern about operating in the spirit is like, how do I not operate in it so that I'm actually using the tools that the spirit has given me? Because the spirit has given me these tools. I'm just, not using them.
You just,
So
you
yeah.
just want to laugh down to the flesh lane. Oh my goodness. And I mean that, we laugh because it's just we all do it, I mean, we know right from wrong, and sometimes you can feel it like, all right, I know I'm about to be able to make a choice. And so it's Galatians. Oh, this is gonna bother me. I have to get up and get my Bible. I think I will. Yeah, hold my Bible. Hold on a sec. Ouch. So I think I had shared with you in the past about my prayer schedule that I have. So I use certain days to pray for specific things.
Yeah.
So like Friday, which is tomorrow, that is my day that I pray for the fruit of the spirit.
Okay.
And it was like clockwork. Like every time on Friday, somebody would get on my nerves and I would need more patience than normal. But to your point, in terms of, or to your question about cultivating gifts and things of that nature, I love Galatians 5 and 13, pretty much verse 13 through 22, which talks about the life by the Spirit. Let's see. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love, for the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. If you bite and devour each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. So I say, and of course it's Paul, so I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of your flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. And then 22, just verse 22 lists out the fruit of the Spirit. So the first thing I would definitely say is to pray that God helps you to walk by the Spirit. And it's almost like if you have walked, like say you're walking in a new neighborhood, the first time you may not really know where to go because you've never been there before. But then it's like, all right, well, I've been here now on my second, third, fourth time. I know I need to make a left at the tree. I can make a right on this street. And now I know how to get out the neighborhood. So it's only, I believe it just helps anything related to faith and developing gifts is just by practice. So, being sensitive enough to say, you know what, I need to be able to operate more in the spirit. I desire that. Because you got to have a desire first. I mean, God's not going to give you anything if you don't have a desire. So it starts with your desire and you praying that, you know what, God, I really do want to walk more in the spirit. And so then start to meditate on those scriptures that talk about that, which is Galatians 5, 13 verses 22. And then what I believe expedites the process is that mentorship that I talked about. I had no idea that I had the gifts that I had until I connected with my church in San Diego. And I make sure I tell her as often as possible, thank you, for her investing in me, really her investing in her, because if she didn't invest in her, then, there would be no me. But she really helped me develop my gift because she walked in the same gifts. So she could help me just being in the same space and just teaching and talking. Just like I said with that girl who, I said, and you don't know when to talk unless it's like shut up in your bones. That's an experience that I had, so I can share that experience. So it does help to have the right tutelage, and sometimes the Holy Spirit has to be that tutelage until he can bring someone that you trust and that you will allow in your space. And so so for now, definitely pray for, you have the desire, so pray that God shows you how to walk and shows you the options. Because you have an option, you have choices. So once, if something like that, not if, something like that is going to happen again, and you're going to have to make a choice. And just choose right. I have a choice. If I want to, go to KFC and get me, a bucket of chicken, or if I want to just get the potato wedges because I know the Lord don't really want me eating meat. I have a choice. And the more that I choose right is me feeding that appetite. So if I keep eating chicken, then my body's going to desire chicken. But if I continue to eat my potatoes and french fries, which I love probably even more, then that's what my body will desire. So it's almost like your appetite will change once you, feed it what it's craving, and you just need to crave more of the spirit things. And so it's just a process. It's a process that there's really no shortcut, but, as long as you pray and meditate on the word and then stop yourself when you feel like, okay, I know I have a choice here. Sometimes we do things not knowing, we just don't know any better. But once you know better, then we try to do better. So now okay, that was an opportunity for me not to get upset, an opportunity not for me not to be anxious. Now when it comes again, because it will, all right, let me choose right this time. And then I was also, definitely thinking about, and I say the mentorship and leadership, and I want to back it up by scripture. I always think of Samuel. Let me see where it is. I definitely always think of 1 Samuel 3. 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 1. The boy Samuel ministered before the Lord under Eli. And so that whole chapter 3 is basically the Lord calling Samuel. But he was learning under Eli, who was about to die. So there was just a whole training period there that had to take place before he went on to glory. And so I love that because Samuel he was so connected to Eli that when it was actually God calling him, he actually thought it was like Eli himself calling him, let's just, for lack of a better word, like next door. Like, hey, Tobias, like if your dad was calling you next door. Like he thought that was Eli, and that was actually God calling his name. Like how beautiful is that? But the bottom line is he had to learn, and he was learning under Eli before he passed away. The same thing happened with the prophet Elijah and Elisha. There was just training that took place. Even when Paul was conformed, converted rather, he had not necessarily a teacher in Barnabas, but actually the disciples were kind of there to kind of help Paul kind of get it together. Paul was just so bold, but he had Barnabas as an encourager. Paul and Timothy, that's what I'm getting to. Timothy was there. Paul was there to help Timothy kind of grow up, because Timothy was very young. I mean, in his 30s, and that's kind of young in ministry. And so Paul was able to, kind of tutor him, mentor him, tell him what's going to come about. So anyway, we all need someone to help us, someone who's kind of, went the path. So when you're ready, when God sees fit, I believe he will bring a male mentor that you'll be open to and that you will trust. That's my thoughts. That's my prayer.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I can't respond to it because I have no way to envision how that's going to happen. So,
yeah, I mean, because you have to be in the right place at the right time, and not even just mentally, but physically. Like, you have to be there for someone to mentor you, and the mentor that I had, I got from church, and I remember being at my church. We started at a church, and I would sit in the balcony and I would see her, like from afar, her and her husband. And I'm like, oh, look at that. I want to be like them. And not knowing that they were about to start a new church. And I end up going to their new church. But I saw them at the church that, I can't even remember, Kohai. But I had to be in the right place to see her. And then migrated with her as they moved on to another church. So you got to be in the right place in order to see whoever is coming by, passing by, etc. Whoever is going to lay their cloak on you, anoint you, or whatever. You just got to be in the right place. So, unless the mailman is going to be your mentor, you need to be out of the house. And nothing wrong with a mailman and mentor. My mailman's great. Or male woman, they change out.
I'm stuck now because I only have male ladies, so yeah.
You only have what?
Male ladies, so yeah.
All right, so do you feel good about that?
Oh yeah, no, feel great about it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Areas of opportunity. What did I have here? I highlighted. Wait, I'm gonna read about local. Okay. Damn, wait. Speaking of, now I can't read my handwriting. Let's see. Okay. So for page 3, second box, areas of opportunity. Those things, I mean, I remember in the beginning we did like some I am statements. So I think revisiting those, getting in the mirror, or, whatever is, and that probably works from a feminine standpoint. But even if it's just you saying it, and maybe it's not necessarily the mirror, or maybe you recording it. I don't know if you have a record feature on your phone. You can probably download an app. But you got to say it, and then you got to hear it play back. Some of these things here that you have listed. And then the communicating well, I just wrote silly by that. Like, I think you do fine. I don't know why you are a super duper critic on communicating. But those are the things that you need to fill in the blanks for. So I am an excellent communicator. I am blank. I am an overcomer. Those types of things that will help you replay it and hear it. Hear yourself saying it and replay that at night so it can get in your psyche, even as you go off to sleep. Those are definitely the areas as well. That's why I love technology, because you can almost find a sermon on anything, something that, or a topic or something that actually speaks to that. Oh, and reading too. That was the other thing I was going to say about the cultivating gifts, which kind of is somewhat tied to that. One of the things that my mentor gave me was books, like a book that I could read about some of the gifts that I have. Like I have something on the shelf now about, I haven't read it. It's like a dictionary, but about the prophetic gift and prophetic dictionaries and all that stuff. All that is just you learning, you feeding your appetite. But so going back to that second box, do I have the book up here? No, in the other room again. The Power of Thoughts by I think I shared this last time by Joyce Myers. I'll get the exact name if I didn't. But that is so on thinking. Actually, Joyce Myers is probably definitely a good person for you to follow because she's been through a lot.
Yeah, no, it was weird. When we were in Atlanta, I think it was the time, I'm trying to remember, it was the time before I met you. When I was in Atlanta, the time before I met you, I was in the hotel room where the TV station, I think, stayed on. It may have been the time I met you. I'm not sure. I think it was the time I met you, actually. The time I met you, my room station, my television station, I think I left it on Joyce Meyer the whole time. I mean, so like I was in the room and, like watching Joyce Meyer and out of the room, watching Joyce Meyer. I noted how I felt during and afterwards, and I was impressed. So
yeah, she's definitely good. I'm trying to think who else in terms of that local church trauma. I don't know anyone specifically on that yet.
Yeah.
That ministers and talks to that. Yeah. And if you haven't already, I would definitely write it all out. And have you talked to anybody about it?
To be honest, no. I'm trying to think. No. I mean, yeah. I mean, nobody wanted to hear it, I guess. But I mean, yeah. No. To be honest, I'm trying to think. Yeah. No. Nope.
Well, I mean, somebody who don't have a choice. Excuse me. Somebody who doesn't have a choice to hear it. So, like a therapist or somebody like that.
No. I mean, I had an online one.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah. And yeah, I told you how that didn't work out. Basically, it's weird because I haven't fired him yet. I just keep putting him on delay every month. But yeah, so I need a Trump spirit or something. But no, yeah. Yeah. So no, the answer is no. So yeah.
Okay, so that's definitely going to be very liberating. And I think having the full couch experience is a part of the liberation. I mean, there's just certain things you can accomplish online. I just feel like there's other things that you can't. And not to say you can't do a hybrid approach. So you can't do a little bit online and a little bit offline. But I would definitely encourage the couch experience.
Well, I do have a question. When you found the one that you referred to before, how did you find them in connection or not even caring maybe about how you felt they were Christianly aligned? Meaning, how did you figure all that out?
You talking about the person I sent you? Or no?
No, the person that you found, basically.
Well, I knew them. I knew them because they were. I knew them because they were a teacher, and I had to interview them. So they worked for me at one point.
Okay.
But then, as I got to know her, I mean, well, that came out in the interview. It don't take long to figure out whether or not you a believer, and I mean, that got very clear. But she was a teacher for one of my after-school programs. But then, I learned what she does outside of that as well, and that was it. So, somebody that I happened to be connected with, but didn't know that I would need to sit on her couch. At the time, I didn't know I would need to sit on her couch. And, I'm telling you, just even my way there, I was like, there was like a bubble of peace. I'm like, yes, I'm going to get it. Like, I'm going to get my healing, my peace. I'm going to get these things out. And since that time, it's been like such a super duper blessing. I mean, obviously the work's not done because there's work that I have to do. There's homework that you have to continue on. But just the mere fact that I know that I have someone who's rooting for me, praying for me, but actually give me sound tools because this is her area. And actually she's in Jersey. I'm not familiar with Jersey at all, so I don't know how close, how far. But yeah. And for me, it was about, and but some people wouldn't go that far for that. If my healing is there, I'm headed there. So if I got to go to Florida, like I've already penciled in Marshawn's conference for October. I don't know how much this dang on conference is. I don't know what days of the week it is, but I mean, I think she gave us a few dates, but I don't know. I just put it in for the whole weekend.
Okay.
And I need to be there.
Wow. Marshawn's conference is invitee only?
No, she hasn't put anything on anything. She hasn't promoted it. But one of the something I was listening to, Periscope, Facebook Live, she did give a date. And that date was, I believe it's the October. I have it's October 13th through the 15th, but I don't know like if it's Friday or Saturday or Sunday. For some reason I have it in as a whole weekend, but that doesn't sound like her. I don't think she would do anything on a Sunday. I don't know. And if I'm honest, I'm actually trying to squeeze in a book signing while I'm in Atlanta. So I'm hoping she doesn't do it on a Sunday. But right now I have the October 13th, 14th, 15th. And that was just something she dropped on either Periscope or Facebook Live. But there's no date. I mean, no name. We don't know the name of the conference, nothing. She just gave us the dates.
Gotcha. No, because I remember she said she was going to do one this year. And then I just, I don't really do Periscope, so I didn't, I didn't notice that. But I just missed it somehow. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool because believe it or not, Kimberly asked out of the blue, like, is there a Marshawn Evans conference coming up anytime soon? And I was like, not unless you have $8,000, $12,000, or $25,000. But no, I mean, yeah, no, cool. So yeah, that's neither here nor there. So yeah.
So go where you gotta go for what? Oh God. Go where you have to go for your healing. Do what you have to do for you. And I think that will be an important part of your next step and important part of accomplishing this before fall 2018.
Yeah, no. In terms of the person you gave me,
I think I gave you the same person. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I think it was Dr. Heath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, you gave me Dr. Heath, and because of the level of privacy that I was seeking, we set up a time and a place to actually talk by phone first.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, got to that place where I could be, totally, there. And so I called, but I called like within 5 minutes of the time we agreed to. Like literally within 5 minutes of it, because there was like a subway keeping me from getting there, basically. And she never responded back to me either by phone or email. So I just totally gave up on the concept of it, just because I was putting so many demands on it myself, meaning I had to be at this place in order to be able to communicate when, she has a schedule herself where,
right.
Like,
That's true. And you know what? And that is that same thing happened with me. I'm like, well, because you feel like you're like, I spy.
yeah. So
trying to have I get it.
So that's why I gave up on it. But, like I understand she'll be at, the conference this fall. So I was just totally like, from my perspective, I was just like forgetting it ever happened. But I did try. So yeah. But that's why I backed off, because it was just like, I know how hard it was for me to make it work. And if she can't make it work from her end, I really do understand. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. And she has referrals though too. So if it's something, so she has referrals. But even like, and I don't know if you're insured or anything like that, but you may be able to find someone through your insurance if you do have insurance. That way you don't have to pay out of pocket, at least maybe not as much. But the other thing that I do like about her, she was very affordable as well. And she did offer me the phone option, but again, I wanted my full couch experience. So
yeah.
And I was able to do that because we do know each other. Typically, she wouldn't do things out of her home, but I'm like, I need to get out of here, and we need to make it work. So if you need a referral, let me know. I'm sure we can find you one. Again, because, well, you know what? No. Have you seen, oh gosh, what's this movie? It just came out maybe a few months ago. The Shack.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah, forgive me the phone. Forgive the phone. Let me mute.
So the movie The Shack, there was a moment initially, because the black lady, I can't think of her real name, but she played basically God, and I think initially people were
Octavia Spencer, yeah.
Yes, Octavia Spencer. I'm sure that people were confused initially because she was a woman and not a male, but I did like how they disclosed the fact that he had some issues with men, and so that's why God came in the form in which he needed to soften his heart, and then the work the relationship out on the back end. But I appreciate the fact that they disclose that type of information, because I was wondering, I'm like, oh Lord, what is this going to tell people? But then they said it, and so it was just like, man, God really is all we need to be at any given time, and he comes in any form. So I keep saying male leadership, but if that doesn't resonate with you, then so be it. And then, but the point is, get the mentorship, the leadership, the therapy, whatever it is that you need, get it from whomever.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I never, I don't know. I'm trying to think. The guys that I've trusted at that level are few and far between. But the ones that I trusted at that level, I always trusted from a great distance. Meaning I never got to know them personally. It was only like from a great distance.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know.
They keep adding to my list for Tobiah. Therapy session.
Yeah.
But yeah, life changing. So, what else did I want to say on that part?
Yeah, I think I will reach out to Dr. Heath again. But like I totally add no whatever to it. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
Yeah.
In terms of the being attractive part, I think we all know what makes us feel attractive. And so if you can nail that down, then try to do that. So you know, I'm not a man, so I don't know, but you know, some men, they look really good or they feel very confident when, like, I notice, like, my husband kind of changes his demeanor when he has like a fresh cut or something. So for him, if he's having a bad day, then I'm sure him giving himself a cut or having a new shirt on or some new socks or new drawers, I don't know, something new. But whatever that thing is, do that. So try to nail down whatever that is that'll make you feel like that. And of course, we don't want it to be always something physical or outside, but that's just who we are. We're physical people. And so, you know, there's certain things that I won't do if I feel like I'm sitting like this whole thing, this thing on Saturday. Yes, I'm preparing my talk, but I'm like, what am I wearing? How am I wearing my hair? Am I getting my makeup professionally done? Like, I'm like, Lord, you know, I don't have time for all this, but these are all the factors that are going in my head because I want to look nice, and I'm more confident when I look nice, and I'm more persuasive when I'm confident. So it just is what it is. So whatever that thing is that you feel like you need, then try to pinpoint it and then just keep doing it. But yeah, all you need is that like young model just to tell you, you know, just to tell you you're fine, and you need to know that, because I mean, I've seen horrific folks and you're not one of those, you know what I mean? So you have to know that, like, all right, first of all, I'm creating God's image and nothing that he creates is horrific. But you have to know that, you know, you are handsome and you have something that you give to the world, you know? So you just have to keep telling yourself that, but then figure out, okay, well, what makes me feel good? And then keep doing it. If drinking water makes you feel good, keep drinking water. I mean, it's going to benefit you one way or another. You know, so yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's an issue of misperception just because of lack of engagement. So, like, I'll give you two examples. First, today I took out the car that I drive, and I drive maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. You know, because I'm a walker locally and I train to work. And so, you know, I was driving and I was looking at the car from the angle that I could see it in. And I swore up and down that the car was dirty and a whole bunch of things. I mean, I'm almost cursing myself for like driving this dirty car.
Right.
And then I get to the gas station and I get out and look at the car and I'm like, the car looks fine, you know? And you're just like, I'm like, how did I think like this for like a good 5-10 minutes? Like, and I'm totally wrong. So one of the first thing is misperception, but then number two is misperception in all kinds of ways. So for example, I also misperceive the degree to which the things that are going on inside of me are still happening outside of me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I took the class up in Rochester, I was totally in my element, totally having a good time, totally enjoying myself. But then I noticed, well, our teacher actually, she took pictures of us and she published some of them like among the group. And when I noticed some of them, I was like, wow, like I could really see where, like, you know, my self-esteem was either hurting or I was just totally withdrawn. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I didn't know that people could see that as readily as I felt it, you know? And, you know, and it wasn't a bad time. It was a great time, but then I realized like, wow. So yeah, but the thing is, I haven't engaged these things. The last time I was in a neutral place where I wasn't the teacher is like few and far between. So like, I mean, aside from teaching in church, the local church, I'm talking about. I'm talking about maybe there might be, I don't know, 10 days out of this entire year where I'm actually with other people in a social setting. I mean, if you cross out my teaching job where I'm the master, so to speak, or the teacher, and you cross out the church days where I'm an usher, my interaction with people is very few and far between. So
yeah, and
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. That's it. Yeah.
But what you saw in that picture, other people probably don't see.
Maybe not. Yeah, and that's the same thing. It's like looking at my car. Maybe. Yeah.
And because there's been a number of occasions. I mean, I can count on my hand where I see something. I'm like, oh man, you look in the mirror, you see something one way, and then someone else will give you a compliment on that same thing that you weren't feeling. And so I think, honestly, I believe that's just a part of God's grace, is just really, not his grace, his love. Covering up those things that we consider to be flaws and letting someone else see it as like beautiful and just like perfect, so yeah, what you saw is probably you being overcritical, and because that's who we are of ourselves, we tend to be overcritical, and other people probably didn't see it because most often people don't even pay that much attention to other people because people are so into themselves. So they probably didn't even have the gift of discerning to see all that you're talking about. But the second thing and the challenge is you have to get out. There are definitely statistics that show that people live longer with human interaction, and just interaction period, with something else outside of themselves, whether it's animals, plants. I'm not telling you to get a plant or an animal. I'm really encouraging you to get out. But the interaction piece is important, particularly if you want to live long. But secondly, I believe it helps with confidence. And just looking at the same four walls, because I'm actually similar. I don't drive much, particularly now that I'm working from home. And I'm pretty intentional about it because, one, I don't want to use the gas. But two, I feel like it waste time. If I'm going to go somewhere, I'm like, I'd rather just do everything at home. But when I do go out, it's like, man, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, even if I just go to Barnes & Noble, Starbucks, etc. So get out. And that's one of those things that you have to be intentional on. That's one of the things that I said I wanted to be intentional on, at least 1 or 2 days going to work from Barnes & Nobles. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll probably meet somebody, be able to have a good conversation, get a good dessert, and be able to get some work done. So be intentional about getting out the house for your sanity, if nothing else. And again, how are you going to meet the young model at home? She's not coming to the door unless she's bearing your bills. So that's just practical. Like, you have to get out the house to work a business, to be in ministry. How can you minister to people if there's no people to minister to? And just from a desiring to be married standpoint, if you want to meet your wife, you got to be out to meet her, unless you plan on marrying someone in your family.
I'm just laughing. No, I mean, at the same time that, I'm talking with you, I mean, God does encourage me, like, really, like, as we talk. So there was a time when I did meet somebody very, very attractive, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago now. It's been a while. But, it's funny because when she showed interest in me, I was as sick as you could imagine, like literally sick. And she was just totally interested in me. And, yeah, I was sick as can be. But she just like kept showing her interest. And then actually the next few times we met in person, she wasn't interested in me, but I was doing everything I could to be prepared and interesting. And, it all fell flat. So, I mean, I think God has a sense of humor. You
Yeah.
know, when I do, when things do connect, and this is the love doctor conversation, but I mean, but but no, I mean, in terms of being a love doctor, people rebuilding themselves, in terms of clients and degree students, I mean, it'll be just as serendipitous. I won't have to perform. It'll happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's always, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna put you on pause for 2 seconds. Um, there's always somebody that wants what you're buying or what you're selling. So it's like, even when you are feeling like, you know what, this is the worst day. My attitude sucks. I haven't had a haircut in 3 months. Like, there's always somebody out there that would just love it. So telling yourself that, and that's why that book of Joyce Meyer, that thought book, oh my goodness. Actually, I'll pick that up on when I get up. It's really good. I think it's called The Power of Thoughts, but I'll pick it up. But give me 2 seconds, and then we'll wrap up. All right. I'm back. Wait, why can't I see my video? And clearly I'm out of shape. Because I'm out of breath. Why can't I see? You can see me, right? Oh, you're on mute. Whew.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, you said you can see me?
Yep.
Normally I can see my video. Anyway, doesn't matter. But here's the power thoughts. Very, very good books. 10 or 12 strategies to win the battle of the mind.
Awesome.
And I believe the battle of the mind was the book that came before this one. But just great on how to, oh my goodness, on how to think, how to change your thoughts and why that produces just positive stuff in your life. So love it. Definitely you can obviously order it, but you can always get kind of like, I guess, the audio as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you know, I looked on my Amazon. I actually ordered the Power of Thoughts, and I ordered Power Thoughts, and I ordered the Cheryl Brady book. You can do the impossible.
Oh wait, you have it in you?
Yeah, you have it in you. Yeah. So, what happened was I was reading that, and I was teaching and reading at this. Before I was teaching, I was reading it, and so I brought it with me to my class, and I think I set it down, and then I left my class, and I came back, and it was gone. So
wow.
yeah, so I need to actually need to get another copy and finish it. But yeah. So, I mean, I pray for the person who picked it up, but I guess
you pray they bring it back.
yeah, I mean, I prayed that I see it again, but it didn't happen. But yeah.
That's funny. Funny.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of other things that you've given us to do that I did. It's a shame I haven't been doing it obviously consistently, but I did do a prayer schedule.
Oh wait, keep it up. Let me make your image bigger. Oh, awesome. Now I can't see if is it what, like per day or something?
Yeah. So what I did was I'll PDF it to you. I should retype it, but I'll either PDF it to you or retype it.
No need to
retype. But no, what I did was with 7 days in a week, I plotted out. Well, Power to Witness University, the whole God gazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I basically looked at God's actions while He created the earth. So I put that in 7 days, and then I put what I'm praying for in 7 days as well. So, like for example, Sunday is when God rested. So that's my day for Thanksgiving and worship for what God has done for the university. So like the first day, the Spirit moved upon the waters, and then God created the light and separated the night from the day. And so that's the day when I pray for direction and revelation about what to do.
So I hate to.
So yeah. So no, I mean.
No.
Yeah, but
so I hate to mess up your prayer schedule, but it actually, and we, I don't know. Everyone has different takes on it, but as I've been, as I've searched the scriptures, I do believe that He actually rested on Saturday.
Oh, gotcha.
And so the first day being, actually it says it. Let me Google it. It does call Sunday the first day. Now I don't want you to change your prayer schedule.
No, I mean, the days run back around, so I can change the numbers.
That's funny, but no. I just, I wanted to bring that up about, but you know what, I am.
No, I would be interested in that biblically, but I don't want to waste your time. So yeah.
No, I'm pulling it up because I know it's in here somewhere. Because trust me, me and my husband went back and forth on this thing. But what I wanted to say is that I want, I'm proud that you're taking your life seriously, like, and really investing in you and the things that I give, you know. So anyway, I'm proud of you for that. Now after the Sabbath, as it began to dawn. Okay. So yeah, I will find some and I'll share that. Let me put that on my notes.
I mean, again, as I say, 2 years from now, the first scheduled class will be $100 class. So.
You are hilarious. You are funny. All right, so let's see. So I think we're just about wrapping up here. So okay, your team defined. The only thing I had for the last box here was you as your event coordinator. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then going to page 4. The biggest thing on here, what do you need to place it over your project? I think the biggest thing on here is consolidating the 30-day plan. Because me looking at this 30-day plan, I'm like, oh my God, it feels overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, 30 days is 30 days, right? But if you think about it realistically, you're not going to work the whole 30 days. So that cuts it down. Let's just say maybe you work 25 and maybe you don't. Maybe you have a lazy day every weekend. Maybe you just only working 24 days a week. So it just looks overwhelming. And going back to the point that I made earlier in terms of so you don't shut down because it's like, okay, well, I have too much to do. I'll never get done, so I'm not going to do it. I would just space it out so it doesn't consume your life and so you can actually enjoy it. I believe you have to rest from things, and maybe, you just spoke of rest, and maybe that's a part of why God rested, so he can actually look at his creation and enjoy it. And then we'll pick it back up after I'm rested. We'll pick it back up and see what we need to do next. So I would definitely recommend spacing these things out. And something that really resonated with me last night and has been, even this morning, the messages that my coaches and mentor, and Marshawn being one of them, what I keep hearing is the word simplify. Like, that is just standing up strong in my spirit, is simplify. For me personally, and I believe it's definitely just for people in general, because we overcomplicate life. So simplify and focus is the key to, I believe, getting success done. And I'm not sure if you watch Marshawn's thing on Facebook Live, but the simplify, where she said the simplify equals amplify. That could have changed my whole life. Like that day, I was so stuck on trying to accomplish and trying to produce, and I just didn't feel like doing anything. So anyway, I watched her. She gave me breath of fresh air, and I was able to continue. But you got to just make it simple, because that way it's attainable, and then next thing you know, it's checked off your list. So again, make your 30-day plan simpler, but also make it, which I believe you did, you have the action down, but I would even try to be even more specific. Like you already said, the civil rights person that you want to connect with, so just write the name in. Don't even have it be vague. That way, again, it's going back to writing the vision and making it plain. So write his name in. That way, God forbid, if anything would happen to you and you forget, like you don't have your memory, but if you already have his name there, then it's like something you don't even have to think about.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, I'm not wanting that to happen to you or to anybody else, but it's like, man, what if we do forget? What if we wake up and like just totally our memory's gone? So yeah, simplify, focus, and really, I just want to make sure you go into 2018 strong with a good, solid plan for fall 2018 on how the university is going to come into fruition.
Yeah.
And so if that means bite-sized chunks, that gives you bite-sized wins, and that will also give you confidence, and then that will also come back to you, your confidence making you feel more attractive, and all that will all play a part together. But I definitely think it starts with simplifying this 30-day plan. And I'm like, look at the 6 to 12 month plan. It was all simplified. But that's what your 30-day needs to be as well.
Yeah. No. So, I agree. I'm looking at what I've actually done, because from the time, it's actually been kind of 30 days since I.
That's true. That actually has been longer than that.
Yeah. So I did do the prayer schedule.
You sure did. We can check that off.
Yeah. The ideas for fall activities, that's still kind of done but undone. The 2-week deadline to create a draft 50-page book pamphlet on Pentecost, confidence, and exceptional purpose. I did that actually. It turned out to be like 25 pages or so.
Okay.
Did I show it to you?
I don't think so. Oh, wait. Because you've been, sometimes you send stuff to my Purpose, and then sometimes you send things to my my Gmail account.
Yeah, I don't even think I sent it to you though. I'm not sure. I don't think I did. Because the plan was to send it to Michelle, who Michelle Barad, who does editing, career wise, and it was weird. I can't explain it. And it was weird because I showed it to her and one other person. Essentially, nobody read it. It was a really deep, vulnerable piece. It went into my vulnerability at a level that I've never been before. But I don't think God was ready for me to share it quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't explain why, because nobody read it. I mean, it was just like everybody, nobody just, I mean, it just totally like, yeah. And then when I finished it, it was like I felt as if I hadn't created a course. I just created like 10 minutes of something. And it was like a whole nother 2 or 3 hours to produce. And so it was just kind of like, I did it, but it was just kind of like, I don't know what it means yet. Yeah, but if I get a chance, I'll share it. I'll make sure I share it with you. I mean, because, I'll share it with you. Just to see what you think of it. But, I got no responses to it.
I'm sorry.
No, because I don't think I shared it with you.
No. I mean, I'm saying sorry on behalf of them.
Oh yeah, no, thank you.
But it was one of those things where it may be best that they didn't read it. I mean, do you want that? Are you ready for that level of vulnerability to be out in the world?
No, yeah, I really wasn't. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't, because when once I wrote it, I was just like, I was ready to run. But it was. I mean, yeah, but it was. I mean, it was real. But I have no idea. So yeah, that's where it was. The PhD personal statement, I got that done. So that's done. It's done. It's on the. I can share that with you too. It's really done. Working on the Mark book, I haven't had much time to do that. The collaboration, I didn't get a chance to do. Continuing the womanist reading, a little bit, but not much. The immigration work. So yeah, all the other stuff is like kind of subordinate. But we did. I don't know, 60% of what we set out to do. 40%, 50%, 60%. Yeah. In 30 days. Yeah.
And the other thing that I took from last night on my office hours with, I guess, my mentor / coach that resonated with me is that because looking just in blocks of whether it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, but just seeing what really is important, because I think we, again, overcomplicate things. We like to add things to our list. because we want to make sure that we're busy, productive, doing things. And it's like, okay, what does this really have to do with anything? And for me, I realized that, again, I'm doing too much, which my husband tells me I do that often. And I don't know why I do that. I mean, even down to if I'm about to go out and make a run, I got to make sure I do 2 or 3 things before I leave the house. I have no idea. I need to dig deeper on why I do that. But I realized that over the next 60 days, I really need to simplify my life and only focus on things that are pertaining to conference, pertaining to my book, period. I can't really pursue any new endeavors. And so I share that with you, that what are the things that are most critical over the next few months? And those are the things that you really need to focus on and prioritize. That word is a beautiful word, prioritize. If it's not important, if it's not critical, if you don't need to do it by September, then don't do it by September. Let it wait till November after the holidays.
No, I do. And I think here are my 3 priorities. I think the first is the PhD program. I need to get that process done. My next step is to actually write or complete the academic paper that's part of the application.
Mm-hmm.
That academic writing sample, that's number 1. Completing the PhD process, which includes recommendations and unfortunately probably taking the GRE one more time. But just get that PhD process done. That's number 1. Number 2 is I thank you first for the beginning where you helped me to simplify just this concept of rebuilding. I really just want to put on that, series of either webisodes and course where people understand that's what this is about, but also where, God will hopefully lead me to scriptures and, scriptural lessons that'll, illustrate that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the goal is by November to be able to pitch to people and, well, I guess as Marshawn says, invite people to what we're doing. So, by November I can invite people what we're doing. And then the third priority is getting the Mark book finished, because that's kind of like a really important piece. That's it. Yeah, so those 3 things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this all and you would give yourself, what timeline are these things taking place?
Well, the PhD deadline is December 15th.
Okay.
But in my world, the sooner the better. Just because I'm back to teaching in the fall, and the GRE and all these things are just going to pile up. So, the sooner you get these things done, the better. For me. But that's like the first priority, I think, in terms of time.
I think I somewhat missed number 2.
But yeah, so number 2 is the course on rebuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever that means. Not whatever that means, but what it what it will be revealed to me. So yeah.
Got it. Perfect.
And then number 3 is the book on Mark.
Yeah, I did get that one.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Tobias.
No. Thank you. This is well, you know how much a day with Marshawn costs, so yeah.
Oh, don't worry, I'm getting there. And this wasn't a day. I mean, what is it? 2 hours?
2 hours, but no, think about it. I mean, what is it? I think it's 10,000 now to spend a day with Marshawn.
It may be more than that.
Probably, yeah, it's probably more than that now.
I don't even inquire because I don't want to get overwhelmed or disappointed.
So this is a $3,000 evening. So yeah.
And we didn't even have any dinner. But no, hopefully this was helpful for you. This was like helpful for me.
No, it is. It is.
To get to know, you more and more on what you want to do, and to pull on those strings a little bit more. And then to, see how I can help and support, and, ultimately I believe that I'm in most times I'm like a connector. I can connect people. So, maybe there's other people that I can connect you with that would benefit from what you're doing or be able to at least assist you. So,
Yeah, no, thanks.
yeah, I'm glad we did the fireside chat.
Yeah, no. This is cool. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely let me know how things go. If if you reach out to Dr. Z, or if you need me to kind of play a wingman in that, you know, the whole point is for you to be on your way to wholeness. So by the time the university is birthed, it's just beautiful babies that are coming from that are being produced.
Yeah. And so some model will want to join the university.
And even if you have one, it's that's fine. I like the reminder of the fact that, even when one person is saved, the angels in heaven are rejoicing. So we go for numbers, there's nothing wrong with that. But if one life is changed, then God is pleased with that. So I'm excited for you. I know that I'm rooting for you. Thank you for always being an encouragement to me, and and just being awesome. And I cannot wait for the day where Mrs. Awesome is able to be a part of all these things as well.
No. Thank you. No. She will be awesome. Well, she will be awesome too. So, yeah. Also, congratulations on the book, and it's released this month. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, let's not talk about it. I don't know how it's really going to take a miracle for all these things to get done in the next few weeks. Actually in the next week, but yeah, thank God we serve a miracle worker, because that's what I need right about now.
No, it'll really work out. In fact, the book review that I had, the book discussion that I had today, I was like on page 28 when the incident happened that really slowed me down. And then once I got over the need to not fret, not I was off to the races and got it all not read. Well, 80% of it read, and got the book done to the point where I needed to get it done and, really see it and be a part of it. Discussion today. Yeah. So I guess there's a long way of saying that, when God turns your engines on, everything will work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm about to go back into my, like, not really sleeping, but just kind of taking naps at night, rising up. And that's kind of where I need to be now in terms of getting my groove. Like, I just got to be pounding, what is it? Pounding I can't even talk right now. What is the pavement? What is it? Pounding the pavement. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. So,
Yeah. No, I have no, I mean, I've burned both sides of the candle, but I do say this. I mean, God always gives rest to his children. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just can't. I gotta operate on my own time, so I can't just because sunlight comes up, or I can't be consumed with the clock. I gotta get it done, and so my time is going to be different than everyone else's time over the next few days, really the next week. So, but yeah, I'm excited for you. And,
likewise, and yeah, have fun Saturday too.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I need to finish that presentation as well. But I'm liking the way it's coming together. So I'm excited about it. I like new things, new opportunities. So
That's awesome.
But I'll definitely keep you in the loop. I'll keep you posted on how things are going. Right now we are scheduled August 3rd to have our session. Hopefully we'll be able to move forward with it. That's my grandfather's birthday, and he right now is in ICU. So
yeah, no, yeah. So the Facebook posts. Yeah. So no, I hope God speeds him in either direction.
Yeah, I want to. I mean, that's going to be pretty phenomenal. He'll make 94, so I'm sure we'll kind of all go to the hospital. I don't know what time, but either way, we're scheduled right now for Thursday to do the You Purpose Me for the faith part. So I'll definitely be talking to you sooner than later. So, but
Awesome,
thanks,
awesome.
Tobias. Thanks for being great.
No, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, no. Yeah.
So I will. I don't know if I got to figure out how I can make this available to you without making it live to other people. So let me figure it out if I need to do a Dropbox. If you want the recording.
Okay. If you want to share it with others, I don't mind. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean,
All right, you said it. I didn't. No.
no. I really don't mind. So yeah,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. So yeah, I'll do some follow up. I'll give me some time.
yeah.
But have a awesome evening
No, you too. You
and
too.
have a better weekend.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. So no, I've been that song. Well, when I had no idea what was going on, that song by Jacqueline Carr, God is Bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that one. I
yeah,
love that one. I don't hear it too often now because I don't come in my rotation too often on Pandora, but when I do, I love that one.
yeah. No, and I listened to maybe one half to three quarters of the Gap Filler.
The oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think his sermons are always long, so you got to just kind of you have time. You got to just let it be your background music, but they're always they're always long, but they're always good. So
Yeah, no. I mean, it's just amazing how he's like. I mean, yeah, how he just like spiritually. I mean, yeah, just totally engages God in all kinds of ways that you
yeah,
just. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Um,
yeah.
but all
Um,
right.
yeah, and I did also he waited. I listened to that, and it also came on the radio Sunday morning too. So I was like, yeah. So
Oh, I haven't listened to that in a while. Thank you for that reminder. I love that one too. Um, good stuff. I'm glad you're listening to what I sent out.
yeah. Well, always.
Well, thanks so much, Tobias, and I
Thank
will
you.
chat with you soon.
Awesome.
All right, have a good night, everyone. Listen to the replay, or yeah, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And tune in next time for You Purpose Me Institute. Have a good one.